So today, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, or Vegas Golden Knights, signed their first player. There is now a Las Vegas Golden Knight. There's a player who doesn't have a jersey. It's got to be a little bit awkward. I would think usually when you sign, you want to wear a jersey of your team. He's got to wear a T-shirt until the jerseys are released, which I'm guessing will be at the draft, but not necessarily. They could just have generic NHL jerseys for the Vegas guys at the draft, or give them T-shirts, and then wait till September to roll out the jerseys. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they're going to work this, but it's funny because Reid Duke is the guy's name, and what's funny is that I Googled him. I thought, well, I'll take a look. I'll take a look at his stats. But Reid Duke is an American Magic the Gathering player from Sugarloaf, New York. He won the Magic the Gathering Online Championship in 2011. His best finishes include two Pro Tour top eights at Pro Tour Journey into Nyx and Pro Tour Eldritch Moon, a runner-up finish at the 2013 World Championships, and wins at Grand Prix Nashville 2012, Grand Prix Miami 2013, Grand Prix Portland 2014, Grand Prix Oakland 2016, and Grand Prix Louisville 2017. So it's kind of funny because it's an interesting name, and I saw a comment on the Canucks forum where they said if this guy's named Duke and he's playing for the Knights, then they want to see like an all chess or that kind of theme. Like they want to see Ben Bishop there, and they want to see a guy with the name Rook, and they want to see all these guys with all these similar sort of names, which is an interesting idea. But to me, this Magic the Gathering guy, I had actually thought maybe I'll do a video about the Magic the Gathering guy and just leave it at that. And wait and see how many people freak out and go, no, they signed a hockey player. But, if there's anything I've learned with this channel, it's that people will just take me seriously. They'll just be like, oh, man, Shannon's lost his mind. He actually, uh, you know, he actually believes that he's a Magic the Gathering guy. Now, this Reid Duke kid that was signed was drafted originally by the Minnesota Wild in 2014. So he's a free agent. He's 21 years old. Plays for the Brandon Wheat Kings. 35 goals this year, 67 points in 54 games. He had 62 and 68 last year. It's one of those things. Now, it reminds me of this McEwen kid that Vancouver signed earlier, like a few days ago or whatever it was. Or was it Sunday? When you sign an overager, you're signing a guy who probably doesn't play on your team. Probably. And now the way that it was worded by Sportsnet was a lot more harsh than that. There was an article linked to Sportsnet where basically somebody just slammed Jim Benning into the ground for using one of his 50 contracts on this kid. Now you've got 46 contracts, and what are you doing? He's an overager, and he's never going to make it. This McEwen kid's basically a bum, and it's like, what? Here's the thing, okay? Contracts expire in June. There are a lot of junior contracts that are going to expire for every team in June. A lot of guys are going to go as free agents. You sign one guy, it's not a big deal. Now, what this Reid Duke kid has going for him is he is the first ever Las Vegas Golden Knight. Or Vegas Golden Knight. I just like Las Vegas better because it's what the city is. It's sort of like when Tampa Bay drops the Bay and they become Tampa, and it's like, no, that's not what we all know them as. We know them as Tampa Bay, and then it depends on what team it is, whether or not they drop the Tampa Bay and they become Tampa. It's really weird. It's strange. But this kid is the first. And for that reason, I think he deserves a video. And I thought about it. I thought, well, big deal. He'll probably never play. But he could. Just because you're an overager and you don't have a tremendous resume and you were drafted, but you didn't get signed by the team that drafted you, it doesn't mean you're not going to be an NHL player. He was drafted for a reason. He's 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, out of Calgary, Alberta. You never know. And he just turned 21 a couple months ago, so you never know. On an expansion team, maybe he comes in and plays a few games. It's a good thing for him. I think it's a good thing for for Vegas to have names to start putting in there, but you can't overanalyze this either. Like I said, with the McEwen signing for Vancouver, I try really hard not to do this. I try really hard not to overanalyze. I try really hard not to come down on signings because you never know. I mean, unless it's like an obviously bad contract, and on July 1st, there are a lot of bad contracts handed out. I had a lot of Canuck fans tell me, "Oh, the Louis Eriksson signing's brilliant." And I was thinking, that's a lot of years for Louis. And now I don't know any Canuck fan that's like, "Oh, no, it's a perfectly good contract. It's reasonable." The Andrew Ladd contract, he's sort of earned it in the last few weeks with the way he's played for the Islanders, but it's a steep price to pay for Andrew Ladd. And he is not the same player he was 5 years ago. So when you look at a kid coming in, I'm not going to smack talk a kid. I'm not. If you look at all the videos I've done, I have never actually slammed a prospect that I know of. I may joke about a person's name, and in this case, Reid Duke. He sounds like a character out of a western. He should be with John Wayne in a western movie. That's my kid Reid Duke. Like it just works. It just works perfectly. But for Vegas, this is a good thing because it means that they've started looking and scouting and signing players. And you have to stock an American Hockey League team, an East Coast League team, and your NHL team. Now, apparently, they're sharing the Chicago Wolves next year. That's what I heard. They're sharing the AHL team, the Chicago Wolves. And they'll probably share an East Coast League team, too, for at least the first season. And then they'll work it out after that. But, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. There are plenty of people who are willing to throw shade, as the kids call it now. It sounds so stupid. Willing to talk smack is the way I would have said it. No, just willing to say all kinds of horrible things about somebody who hasn't played in the NHL and just got signed. Like when a kid gets drafted, and the first thing a person says is, "Well, he'll never play in the NHL," and you know this how? I never claimed to be smarter than scouts. I never claimed to be smarter than GMs. GMs do things that I say, wait, they did what? But I wait to see how it pans out for them. And with prospects, I wish the kids all the luck in the world. This kid, Reid Duke, he's been playing hockey in in the Western League since 2011. So he's played he played 3 years in the Lethbridge organization. In his 4th season, right at the start of it, he gets traded to the Brandon Wheat Kings, and he's played basically the last 3 years for Brandon. He's had 6 years of junior hockey. Now, you can be a prick and say, well, most of them are 4 years. If they're any good, they're done at 4 years. Okay. So at 6 years, he's still there. He doesn't deserve a contract? This is part of what's going to happen with expansion. And people say, well, it dilutes the talent. It ruins the game. No, it doesn't. At all. It just means that kids like this, who didn't have much hope for realizing that dream, now they do. And I'm going to do a video soon on American Hockey League players currently playing who I think could really benefit from expansion because they deserve a chance. Watching the Canucks game the other night, Richard Bachman absolutely deserves a chance to be an NHL backup goaltender. He's played twice for the Canucks in 2 years, and both times he has really impressed me. He impressed me in Dallas as well. Like this guy deserves to be at least a backup in the NHL. He's good enough, but because there's a limited number of jobs, and he doesn't fit. He's not young enough to be a prospect. He's not seen as having any upside. He's not a big name either. There's no draw to him. He's just sort of lost in that no man's land. Very, very decent AHL goaltender, solid middle of the road AHL numbers for a Utica team that's been bad at times. And he's good. He's been good anytime I've seen him play. Made 43 saves against Anaheim. He's a decent goaltender. And with expansion, guys like him will get a shot. So I'll go through American Hockey League And I'm going to pick guys out who look like career American Hockey League players who will probably get a shot now that expansion is back, especially if a 32nd team gets added. Because that's when you're adding approximately 50 jobs. You're adding 50 jobs to the NHL. And there are guys in the American League who really honestly could do very well in the NHL right now. There just isn't enough room for them. The NHL has plenty of depth. Lots. And it shows every time there's injuries and teams are able to make call-ups that are able to make a contribution. And it shows here too. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Let me know where I'm wrong. I've had a couple comments about the audio of the videos I did today when I was on the road. That's just something I do just for fun. You know, if they don't go over and people don't enjoy them, all right. But it does mean that on days where I'm traveling and I'm on the road, I'm not gonna be able to do videos. So, you know, I just figured it would be a fun thing to do. Something to change things up a little bit from the standard background and standard things. And, you know, it's just one of those things I do. So thanks for watching. And let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I honestly, you know, first kid signed by the Golden Knights. I think it's a good little story. And it's gonna be interesting to see who else they sign, but I think it's a good story. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. I see you, and I'll talk to you all again soon.